G'day guys, you're watching Rig It Up. Welcome to another episode. A little bit of a different scene today. We're not going to be outside working on the car. Instead, we're going to be reviewing the past cars that I've had. I have had quite a few cars, but we're going to focus on just two today. I'm pretty excited for this because this car has lots of meaning to me. It was my pride and joy at the time. I absolutely loved sports cars. Had a huge passion for them, just the sound, the speed, the adrenaline rush. So in this episode, we're just going to be going through why I went from this to this. Here it is, my XR6 Turbo in its stock form. I really hadn't done much to it, just bought it from the dealership. It was very stock, no work had been done to it. And yes, it does look like a family sedan. However, it has a gem inside, and that is the Barra. The Barra engine, named after the barramundi. So just a few specs for you, just quickly. It's a 4-litre dual overhead cam. In this specific model, the FG model, it was a turbocharged Barra. It has 362 horsepower or 270 kilowatts stock, which is amazing. 393 foot-pounds or 533 newton meters of torque. Factory LSD in the rear, and it came out with a 6-speed manual or 6-speed automatic, which to me just sounds like the perfect standard sports car. What's even more miraculous is the bottom end on these engines are so strong they can handle up to 1,000 horsepower. There have been guys out there getting 1,000 horsepower out of the bottom end standard. Now, Americans hearing this news, they ditched their old Hemis and replaced it with the Barra. As you can see here, a Dodge Challenger has now got a Barra in it. Heaps of people are converting their cars to the Barra engine, even the Nismo fans. You've got, your Patrols getting Barras in them, your Mustangs, even your Commodores. You got Barra swaps for Commodores as well. So lots of Barra swaps because it's such a popular engine, such an amazing engine, so tough and can handle so much power. So knowing this, guys, I basically started modifying my XR6 Turbo just with the basics, starting off with just painting the wheels. I couldn't help myself. After I painted the wheels, I was like, nah, I'm going further. Upgraded the intercooler piping, basically tore down the car. Upgraded many things like the exhaust, injectors. Wasn't anything too crazy, just some basic bolt-on mods, and I decided to get a tune. This is 331 kilowatts or 444 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough to do this. So 0 to 100 in around 4 seconds, which is pretty damn good in my opinion. I mean, it's enough to experience this. For someone like myself who had never really driven a fast car, this was just insane. I mean, even my mates, look at this guy. Proper boost version. He absolutely loved it. I love taking it through the hills. He said it's awesome. I took so many photos of it. It was just my pride and joy, like I said. Such a cool looking car. I made it look so nice. I had a photo shoot of the interior as well. And also the exterior, made it look just how I wanted. Take a look at these photos, guys. Isn't it just a good looking car? Had plenty of power to spin the wheels. And I thought, why stop there? It's my toy, so maybe it's a bit silly, but I put a bit more money into it. I went even further. I upgraded the turbo. Massive intercooler upgrade. I mean, this thing was huge. I had to cut heaps of the grill out to make it fit. Upgraded the fuel pump to a Walbro 460. Had some oil pump gears put in, and just off camera as well, I had 1000cc injectors put in. And as you can see here, I've got the Crocam's valve springs. And guys, this just turned the car into a whole new weapon. I mean, it went from that 450-ish horsepower to 600 horsepower. 600 horsepower, once again, doesn't even sound like a lot, but that is just plenty to have an absolute time, mate. Like, as you can see from these videos, have a listen. Insane. Like, even my little brother, you know, he's sitting in there for the first time after the second tune at 600 horsepower, and he's just...
Surely that's Spitfire.
The exhaust I put on it sounded mean. I mean, it even sounded like a V8 in my opinion, even though it's a 6-cylinder. Just have a listen to it. It even had a few pops and crackles. For some reasons I had to sell this car, and even though it was hard, I moved on to a different passion. And you know, after seeing all these photos and videos of this awesome car, you'd think I'm crazy to sell it. But guys, I think my new passion lies in four-wheel driving. Not long after I sold this XR6 Turbo, I bought the 80 series. So if you guys have seen my first video, you'll know that I originally bought the black 80 series. It was great to start with, and I did Raptor code it. And then I had some complications. Check out my first video if you want to know about those complications. This new 80 series that I've been doing up on the channel has just driven my passion even further for four-wheel driving. I mean, not only do I enjoy going out in it, but I also enjoy modifying it, putting those things on it that I like. It really shows to me what a car can be capable of. Now with capability, you've got your sports cars, they're powerful, depending on the engine they have in them. They can be fun, you know, you can modify them to an extent. However, with laws and certain limits that you have in certain countries, you can't use a sports car to its full potential. For example, in Australia, you know, the maximum speed limit is either 110, maybe 130 in some places. The sports car can usually go way past 200 kilometers an hour, which you're never going to use. You're never going to use its full potential. You know, you speed up to 100 kilometers an hour and that's it. You haven't used the car to its full potential. Now, with a four-wheel drive, you can go anywhere really. You can go off-road, onto the beach, up mountains, go camping, anywhere you want. You can go places that simple cars can't go. You know, if you were to get into a sports car and go to the beach, you'd stop at the sand because you can't go any further. You'll get bogged. Get in a four-wheel drive, you just keep driving onto the beach. Not only that, just like my 80 series I built up on the channel, I can sleep in it. I've got a rooftop tent on the top. You couldn't really put a rooftop tent on a sports car. You can take it anywhere. I've got a kitchen in the back. I could almost live out of it if I wanted to. The versatility of a four-wheel drive just absolutely trumps sports cars in every way. Just because I had the passion of a sports car still in my heart, I did want to stay with that turbocharged sort of sound, power, and that's why I went for the petrol turbo version of the 80 series. There's a lot of controversy out there with the petrol and the diesel Landcruisers. Yes, the diesel Landcruisers are fantastic, not only for, well, they're not great on economy, but better than the petrols. They are very reliable as well. However, I just wanted to keep that, you know, straight six, turbocharged feel and sound. And in my opinion, the petrols just have that little bit more power, which I like. So maybe down the road, I'll be changing to a diesel, but just to kind of stay along the lines of that Barra engine, the Turbo FZ is a straight 4.5 litre, 6-cylinder. And when you chuck a turbo on the side, not only does it sound similar to a Barra, but it also has that grunt to it. It's very, very tough. Another reason why I went to the four-wheel drive scene rather than a sports car is, you know, as I get older, I'm married now, and eventually, you know, planning to have a family, the sports car isn't ideal for a family scenario. I mean, you can drop your kids off in a 600 horsepower Falcon, which is cool, but it's not really practical. Whereas a four-wheel drive is just more practical. You know, if you want to go out with your kids, take them camping, take them four-wheel driving, they're going to enjoy that much more. To summarize this episode, guys, in a four-wheel drive, you can experience so much more. You can go see places in the world that you might not have seen in a sports car. You know, you're pretty restricted to just the roads in a sports car, whereas a four-wheel drive, you can go off-road basically anywhere. You can experience and see so much more. There's so much more versatility involved with a four-wheel drive. So in my opinion, I've got the best of both worlds. You know, I've got that turbo petrol 1FZ. I mean, later down the track, if I wanted to get 600 horsepower out of it, I could. I probably wouldn't even need to do so because it's a four-wheel drive. It's not supposed to be super powerful. I've also got that four-wheel drive aspect of it as well. You know, the ability just to live anywhere if I need to. That's the end of this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you gained a bit of insight from my background of my passions. I still have a huge passion for sports cars. I mean, later down the track, if I get money behind me, maybe I'll get another sports car, maybe another Barra, maybe something even nicer. But just for now, I'm going to be sticking with the four-wheel drives and continuing my passion in that industry. So please like and subscribe, guys. Good videos coming up, especially with some camping. We're going away this weekend, so it should be good. And I'll see you next episode.